Hello my ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Hope everybody is having a good week so far. I'm here to do the final walkthrough of the decks that I bought in Glastonbury. And today it is the turn of Touchstone Tarot by Cat Black. So it's been a bit of a Cat Black year really, because I have the golden tarots. They look like, the way I've just picked them up, they look like two completely different decks, don't they? They're not, but I've had Cat Black's tarot for, oh gosh, years, 6, 7 years, maybe 8 years. Originally I had the glossy version. These are probably in order from when I did the side by side, actually. Originally this came out in a matte version when it was first released. I never got that. I got this version, which was in gloss. And then I heard that US Games had re-released it this year on matte cardstock. And I love me some matte cardstock. So, and even though it was billed as matte cardstock, it's actually linen, and it's beautiful linen. Hopefully, if I bring it up to the camera, you might be, yes, you can see the linen finish. It's just beautiful. This is really, really gorgeous. And I had to ask my good friend Cheryl from Wellness Emporium, who, you know, stocks US Games decks, whether she could get some and guarantee that it would be on linen cardstock, and she was able to source them. So yeah, that was just wonderful. So I love medieval art. I love Renaissance art. The Touchstone Tarot, I never picked it up because I was never sure when it was in print and when it wasn't. So originally it was a independently produced deck, and then I believe it went out of print, and then I heard it was released, and I heard it was out of print. And when I saw it in the shop in Glastonbury, even Giselle said, "Isn't that deck out of print?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, but you know, and there was only one copy. I didn't pick it up immediately. I said to myself, if it's still here tomorrow," because it was the first day and I didn't want to be weighed down with stuff, and we've got a few days there. So I said, if it's still there tomorrow, I will come back and I will get it. And it was. It wasn't a bad price. It was £35, so £34.99. You always pay a little bit more from shops, but I like to support, you know, esoteric new age type shops, and I particularly like to support shops in Glastonbury. Okay, so the box is beautiful. There's a different shape and style to the lift off lid box. It's the standard kind of 2-part box, US Games 2-part box. I think they've kind of done away with this cutout now, and have done this kind of design where it's arched. But it's beautiful with the metallic cold stamping on this matte background. I don't believe the cards are matte though, but it just looks gorgeous. And on a shelf, I mean, look at this under candlelight as well, just beautiful. It is Baroque art, and I'm not a art, it's an art. Gosh, get your words out. I'm not an art historian, but you know, I know that Baroque kind of is at the tail end of the Renaissance, post-Renaissance, but pre-neoclassical, probably from the 16th century to around the 18th century, but really, really nice. On the back it says, for Touchstone Tarot, Cat Black creates sumptuous tarot collages from Baroque masterpieces, bringing new layers of meanings to readings. The sensual portraits are imbued with subtle facial expressions and nuances that can help the reader intuitively connect with the cards. Familiar Rider-Waite-Smith imagery makes Touchstone Tarot accessible for readers at every level of experience. This deluxe 80 card deck with gold gilt edges and accents come in an elegant box with a 108-page illustrated guidebook presenting card meanings, card spreads and art references. And that's interesting because the US Games release of Golden Tarot has gilt edges. However, the independent version of this deck didn't. They didn't have gilt edges. Cards look quite nice and big as well. So we've got a little book, not a lot. The font is quite small. There's not a huge amount of text for each card, but there's enough. You get a write-up. You get a description of the card as well. So I've just stopped on 8 of Wands. A young woman sits on a balcony overlooking a lush rural landscape. She looks up at 8 sprouting wands flying through the air. So it describes the scene, which I always love that about guidebooks. I only really reference guidebooks to get an understanding of the artist's intention for the card rather than a divinatory meaning. Particularly as this is labelled as an RWS deck, I wouldn't need a book for that. The backs look gorgeous. Can we just state that? It looks lovely. Let's get my little pen knife. They remind me actually of another back. I can't think what the backs remind me of. Not probably in brown, but perhaps in blue. It's not Tara Paul's Moon, I don't think, but this is an exquisite back. I'm going to bring the camera down just so you can have a closer look. Okay, I mean, look at this. They do have that kind of raised up edge from the gilding, but that wears down in time. They are glossy. You can see here from the ring light, you can see a perfect ring. But this is beautiful. Beautiful gilding, nice and smooth. But I love these backs. I think the gold on top of the brown, it's like a little floral design, it's exquisite, it's gorgeous. So these are kind of like oracle shape or size, I should say. They do have a border, but it's beautifully framed. Now, when we're and I'm not a huge border person, I don't mind borders, but when we're talking of, Renaissance art or Baroque art, to get a nice frame like this really does, and the plaque underneath, this is like being in an art gallery or a museum and you walk towards a beautiful painting and you've got, the title of the painting and perhaps the artist credited. And you can see even on the card fronts, this is metallic gold. It's, I can see why this costs £35 for a mass market deck, because the quality of it is absolutely beautiful. Love it. I love the fall here. Look at the dog looking up. It's got a little flute. There's a real sharpness to the images as well. Here's our magician. He's got all his tools, look. He's got the little owl up here. He's got books for knowledge. Our high priestess with her scroll. Here's the Empress. Look at that. That's like a huge, it looked like at first like a cornucopia, but it's a tied up veil, I think, but it's really beautiful. The Emperor. Looks very majestic. The Hierophant. We have a supplicant there. Here's our lovers. It's an interesting lovers card. She almost looks like the Mona Lisa. chariot. So let's see what we get, what information we get in the book. Okay, so where are we up to? Up to the chariot, aren't we? So it says, a warrior woman rides in a golden chariot, her hair and robe flying in the wind. Her plumed helmet is topped by a sphinx, and she carries a scepter and shield. Her chariot is decorated by a roaring lion, and a white dove flies in the sky behind her, trailing a golden cloud. So it's really descriptive. And then you go into your meanings, and you've got a couple of sentences of upright and reversed. So united we stand, an inspiring leader brings together conflicting parties, victory through compromise, force of will, motivation, and commitment to a common goal. So that's the upright meaning. The reverse, just in case you want to know it, is disquiet, ignored, can lead to rebellion, possible collapse in an agreement through petty squabbles. Take care to prevent minor complaints escalating. So for me, that little book will, you know, just help to not miss any of the symbolism within the artwork. Beautiful strength. Look at that. Is actually looking up at her quite affectionately. It's not a forced. Love the Hermit. Love this Hermit card. And then we have our Wheel of Fortune. I think this has been curated quite well. The Justice is at 11, so it is following the RWS. Here's our Hanged Man. It's an interesting Hanged Man. Is attached at the elbow there. Oh, well, actually, no, he's tied to a tree, isn't he? There's a tree here and he's attached by the arm in each place. Death. Look at that Death card. Wow. Wow, there's a lot happening there. At first, I just focused on the skeletal figure here, holding this, it looks like a book with the English rose. And then you've got the person here who's obviously, it's life slipping away. But then I just noticed in the foreground, somebody, you know, in the stages of grief, the beginning stages of grief. There's Temperance. Oh, look at that for a Devil card. This is fantastic. What a treat. I bought this a week and a half ago in Glastonbury. This is my first opportunity to have a look at it. Star. The moon. And the sun. I think there'll be people that don't like the sun card. Lots of people don't like the creepy baby on horseback. I don't mind it, but here's our Judgment card. Love how there's flowers growing out of the coffin. Interesting, we have a male in the world card. And then we go into our minors. So we're starting with our wands. Got the atlas there. We're getting a lot of, for the minors, a lot of, as it said, those facial expressions. Look at the cat here. The Four of Wands, we've got the Four Wands there, and that celebration look. She's in the foreground. Again, we've got the kind of homestead in the background. Five of Wands, the conflict, the Six, wow, Seven, something very odd about that face. I'm not quite sure. 8, that was the card depiction that we read from the book first. 9. It's looking at the extra detail as well, because particularly with the corpse, a lot of face on decks, I focus instantly on the eyes and the facial expression. But I think with this deck in particular, it's key to pay attention on the symbols within the image as well. King, Queen, Knight, Page, 10, right. Okay, our water suit, the cups. The 2, oh, is holding a little red flower, look, for her. 3. Now, it said it was an 80 card deck, didn't it? So I'm wondering what the additional 2 cards are, or where they are. 5. And again, if you're used to RWS, there's nothing here, even though the artwork is very different, there's nothing here that would be too challenging, I don't think. This is clever, having that printed on the cloth. I guess it's embroidered on the cloth for the times. 8. 9. And the beauty is there's nothing I need to do to this deck. I don't need to trim it because I really like the way the image is presented. I don't need to edge it because it's got beautiful gilding. So it's a deck that I can take straight out the box and begin using. The last couple of decks I've modified in some way. Our swords. There you are, Giselle. Not your RWS typical pierced heart. They've not been lazy. It's a nice image on the holding the baby on the boat. Very traditional. Now look at the figures here at the bottom. 10. That's an expression, isn't it? And then the coins, rather than pentacles, we have coins. The earth suit. That green is gorgeous. Oops. That's an interesting 5. I love the stained glass artwork. Watering the plants. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, she's got the bird on her arm. Interesting that we've got the is it a cello? I'm itching to see what the extra 2 cards are. about to find out. Oh. I was not expecting a happy squirrel card. That's hilarious. Oh, and a title card with Queen Elizabeth. So it's Touchstone Tarot. I love the little squirrel here. I like the crystal ball. But having a Touchstone Tarot card kind of feels like a title card. But you could use this as a significator card. There's, what does it say here? Touchstone Tarot. Oh, I need my magnifier, I think. Touchstone Tarot, tell me true. This is what I ask of you. Although the artist and subjects of these paintings have long since died, may they reach out to you across the centuries as they have to me. May they be 78 friends you can hold in your hand. It's interesting, isn't it? So for me, I mean, it is a title card rather than a 79th or 80th card. And then we have the Happy Squirrel as well. But it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. US Games have done a fantastic job. I haven't seen this deck for years. I think I watched an independently produced one probably 6 years ago when it first came out. And then, yeah, I kind of forgot about it and put it out of my mind because I didn't think it was available. So it was lovely to see it on sale in Glastonbury. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have this deck? Do you work with it? Yeah, I'd be interested to hear whether you've got this version or the indie. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.